Well, hello. I'm here with Doug to talk about Sophos' secure firewall and many other things. It is Friday, October 24th, 2025. So let me just talk about this firewall. I've been talking for 2 years on Pulse Security Weekly and everywhere about how our edge devices are not secure enough and they don't have
Right.
any antivirus on them or integrity protection or anything. And now they're the number one hacking target. So this is really messed up. And there was a recent report of a company that analyzed them and found that the number of 0 days in 2025 on these things is just as big as the number of 0 days in 2024 of these things. They're using a lot of legacy code more than 10 years old, and they have stupid vulnerabilities like command injection, directory traversal, buffer overflow. It's just ridiculous. It's like it's still the 1990s for our edge devices. And I've been saying somebody needs to step up, and Sophos has finally done it. They've made a new firewall and they've added a bunch of new security features, including remote integrity monitoring, so you can send a query to your firewall to find out if all the software is intact and hasn't been modified, which is like what you should have. You just have Tripwire or something running on it.
Right.
So I'm glad. And they're advertising it as the new secure firewall. And this is what I've been saying. We need to have a new generation of edge appliances that sell by saying, we have security features. Don't buy our rival that is just vulnerable. And they need to start like an arms race making secure edge devices. We need that. So I was real pleased. I think this is a positive move. I have no idea if this particular product is very good, but I'm glad to see the idea of marketing your product as more secure and actually adding some security features to it.
But wait, Sam, that's what we've all done. That's been the whole tech industry when it comes to security devices.
Well, the
Our
fire,
device is now the most secure Windows version we have
well,
ever produced.
and Microsoft Windows really did get more secure, and it's really a whole lot safer than it used to be. So that's what happens. You start the arms race. Everybody has to add
Yeah.
security features because they're badly needed. Like in 2001, everybody had the Bonsai Buddy popping up in the corner and all that garbage. And Microsoft said, all right, this is out of hand, and started adding security features. And after
Yeah.
a few years, their stuff was a lot better. So we need that to start with firewalls and VPNs and routers and switches and everything. They all need to add all those security features that they've been ignoring.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, all
Yeah.
right.
All right. Yeah. So that's the big
So,
one as far as I'm concerned. I had a lot
yeah,
more.
here's the big one on my side.
Yeah.
So, Sam, Windows 10 support ended, right?
Right. Right.
So
Well,
you either have
unless you can get a free year of extended support by doing various shenanigans. So, but I bet a lot of people didn't, and they're just using Windows 10 without patches now.
Yeah, or they defected and they went to the alternative. What's the
What,
alternative?
Linux?
Linux.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, yeah. Well, I remember when Linux bragged, hey, we're number two. Now we're up to 2.1% on the desktop, and the Mac has fallen to 2.0, so we're number one. That happened briefly like 10 years ago. I mean, nobody wants to live in Linux on the desktop. Who are you fooling?
So, Sam, what's increased now?
I don't know. Linux on desktop.
Malware injections into Linux downloads.
Oh, you mean, well, has it increased? I saw one distribution had it up for like 8 hours. It was poisoned. You mean
No,
Linux software or Linux operating system downloads?
the binaries that you're downloading have been injected with malware. So they're now websites where you can download Linux that have the malware pre-injected in it that the user doesn't know it's been
Wow.
down or the person downloading doesn't know.
Well,
So what's
now that you mention it, nobody runs antivirus on Linux. Maybe they're going to have to start.
exactly? And so what's the solution for this? You go to a legitimate website for this Linux version distro that you're downloading, and you do a hash of the binary comparison,
Well, yeah,
hash comparison. Yeah.
yeah, that sure. I mean, so okay, they have pirate sites offering poison Linux. Okay.
Yeah.
One
Yeah.
of the
Yeah.
actual main distributions did get hacked, and the official download was poisoned for a few hours, but they patched that in a hurry, of course. That's happened a couple times.
Yeah. But now you just make clone sites.
Right. Okay. And of course, the Windows users don't know what's going on.
Right. Right.
Right.
Because you're new to Linux.
Right.
And I've,
And
and
by the way, I remember when for a while one of the major hardware vendors was selling computers with Linux on it, and they
yes.
quit because they said 90% of them come back. People put it up and say, "What is this crap? Where's my Windows?" Don't even understand when you tell them they're getting Linux. They say, "Sure, whatever. I need a computer." Then when they turn it on, what the hell is this?
Yeah, Linux, some people can get by with it. It's not that easy.
No, it's not. I mean, the fact is, Windows and the Mac have put incredible decades of development into the user
Yeah.
experience. So you have pretty pictures and you know how to use it. And Linux is just way behind. It. That's why I never even use graphics on Linux. Like, who are you fooling? I use Linux in the command line only mode. That's what it's for. The graphics are always an afterthought, and they don't work worth a damn.
Yeah, the graphics are like Windows 2.1, 3.1.
Well, the graphics look a little better, but the fact is there's a bunch of defects. And of course, you find you can't play games, you can't play the videos.
Yeah, yeah, on and on. All right, let's
Pretty,
move on.
yeah,
Anyway,
yeah,
if you're downloading Linux, make sure that you compare the binaries,
yeah,
their
yeah.
hashes to make sure you don't have malware
Yeah,
infected
if you want
software.
Linux on the desktop, get a Chromebook, you know. Don't waste your time.
Oh, Chromebooks. Ugh.
Well, Chromebooks are basically what you get with Linux on a desktop.
No, but you have to do browser extension
Yep.
add-ins.
Well, that brings me to my other interesting story. Um,
Yes,
there's
please share.
This is Glassworm. Glassworm is the first self-propagating extension worm. It in,
Really?
it infects VS Code, and VS Code is the tool that many developers prefer to write software, and it's like a browser. It has extensions, and
Okay.
so they made a self-propagating worm that it uses advanced stealth techniques, and they compromise an extension, and then it searches for API keys, and all the ones it finds, it connects to all the other extensions and infects them too. Like, remember the old viruses that would spread to all the EXEs on your hard drive? It's spreading to hundreds of extensions in the marketplace on like GitHub and other
Mm,
sites like that. So this is actually a whole new generation of internet worms. It's infecting the development pipelines of online code development systems and spreading through the VS Code extensions. It's really advanced. It uses invisible Unicode characters to hide the code and blockchain-based infrastructure that can't be taken down. Google Calendar is a backup server, and it infects NPM GitHub. It harvests NPM GitHub and Git credentials for supply chain propagation. So this is like one of those nightmare scenarios that we've seen coming but haven't seen yet, infecting all the pipelines.
yeah, got it, got it.
So that's pretty cool. And of course, the answer is if
Nice.
you have like an online GitHub or something, you have to not leave the API key just lying around in plain text in some config file that's public. That's what tends to happen. People leave the API keys just lying around.
Yeah, well, let's kind of take off on that a little
Yeah.
bit. Google and Microsoft have both made advances in quantum computing chips,
Well,
right?
that's
You've
what they
been told.
say. Yeah,
Yeah.
I remember Microsoft claiming they had Majorana fermions, but that apparently was not true. And now Google is claiming to have quantum supremacy for like the third time. And once again, a bunch of people are mocking it, saying it's probably not true. I don't know the details.
Well, if correct, isn't this going to make current encryption methods obsolete?
No, I don't think anybody has come remotely close to running the Shor algorithm at scale. But it's
Yeah,
a step towards that. I think the end of public key encryption is still like a couple decades in the future, but they are making gradual improvements. They'll eventually get there,
yeah,
apparently.
yeah. All right. So since we're on the topic of Google, specifically Alphabet, Google's parent company,
Yeah.
did you hear they lost $100 million in market share in the stock market?
No, why would it go down?
Why?
Did
Because of
Chrome?
open AI.
Oh, and because that's supposedly going to decrease the value of search?
No, because open AI's browser has Chat GPT built in.
Right. But I think Chrome is announcing an AI-powered browser too, though. But I guess they really think everyone's going to flock to the AI-powered browser.
Well, the stock market, for a while, Google
Yeah.
stock decreased 100 million. But why would you use Chrome if you've got another browser that has Chat GPT built in? And we don't know that it's better or worse.
Well, that's the question. I mean, do average people actually think AI is helpful and they want it? Maybe they do. I'm very suspicious of it.
You know, a lot of people, I would argue, don't even know that they're using AI.
That's true. Well, I mean, so it does the. I saw a review of that browser where they tried to get it to like buy early tickets and stuff, and it seemed like it really didn't work all that well. But they claim what they're claiming, I think, is you can move towards like Captain Kirk's computer, where you just talk to it. Computer, figure out if it's safe on that planet or not, something like that, and it will do that for you.
Well, isn't that what Siri was all about?
Yeah, and it didn't work. But if that
So,
actually worked, if you could just talk to your computer like you talk to a person, then that would be a great feature, and people would love that.
yeah, Sam, 25 years ago, maybe even 30, there was a program called Wildfire. Do you ever hear of that?
I think I did, but I've forgotten.
Wildfire was like a digital assistant that was a phone based. So you'd call up to retrieve your voicemails, and I never used it, but I saw demos of it, and
Well,
so people would say,
That's what GM's OnStar is. I've
"Is
seen that.
Wildfire?"
No, but it's the same thing. When you're in your car, you can just talk to it and say, "Hey, what are my messages? Please call these people and tell them I'm going to be late," and stuff like that. But I think it's actually real humans you're talking to in that case.
Um,
OnStar is not AI, I think. I think it's just a live human operators.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Boy, uh,
Probably
is
a
that
lot,
kind of
probably a
is
lot
that
better
kind of
user experience.
overpriced, in my
Well,
opinion?
yeah, but probably a lot better user experience.
Yeah, but it actually worked pretty good from what I understand. But the problem was it was too early,
Yeah.
and people would hear people talking to Wildfire and go, "Why are you so rude to that person?"
Oh,
Wildfire, make an appointment for me, 1 o'clock tomorrow.
oh, yeah. Well, I know I've had people say that you get much better answers if you're polite to ChatGPT.
Okay.
But this reminds me, I've got there was a study, a large study showing that AI assistants are all crappy. They all misrepresent news content 45% of the time, making serious mistakes. But another notable result is that Google Gemini is by far the worst, with making mistakes 76% of the time, more than double the other assistants. So,
So
yeah.
does that mean that that's Gemini is yeah, Google, right? Yeah.
Yeah. And which is this is kind of the story. I remember when Bill Gates said you don't need to break up Microsoft for monopoly because we're ahead now, but it will stumble and fall. Google actually invented all this AI technology, but then they didn't release it and they've fallen behind and they're still struggling to catch up. Which is why, this is a general feature of everything, including music and everything. The first creator is not the one that makes the money. It's the second or third person that makes the money by taking something somebody else invented and improving it. And that's totally what's happening here. I mean, Google invented all this stuff. They actually invented the fundamental technology of large language models and published it, but OpenAI is getting all the money. However, none of them are really getting any money. It's all just bogus. They're all just pretending to be rich by trading money around and pretending they're sales, and it's all going to crash in a year or two.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm trying to think. Yeah, there are a lot of companies that you're right that the original founder didn't make the money.
Right. I mean, I'm thinking like music. All the famous music is like a remake, a cover. The original artist doesn't sound that good. The guy that wrote that song the first time, it's always the second or third remake that really makes a big hit, which does make sense, really. You make something and then somebody else improves it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, remember, IBM invented all the modern computing UI and didn't make a penny off it. It was Microsoft and Apple that did. Anyway,
Yeah. That was OS 2.
yeah,
That
yeah.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
so ChatGPT's Atlas, which is that browser you're talking about, their AI-powered browser,
Right.
admitted that it has prompt injection vulnerabilities, which it absolutely does, but they claim they put in defenses, extensive red teaming, and they claim they have implemented novel model training techniques to reward the model for ignoring malicious instructions. So that might actually help if the AI model itself can understand a malicious command, although I'm very skeptical, and they claim there's a lot of guardrails and everything, but they say prompt injection remains a frontier unsolved security problem, which I agree. I mean, the fact is, the defenses against prompt injection are currently very primitive and ineffective, and everybody can pretty quickly punch through them. So, and that's why I'm very skeptical about using an AI powered browser.
I
But
mean, what,
yeah,
I mean, I do get the purpose of an AI browser
yeah.
is one is to buy tickets or to buy something.
Yeah, you could just give it a command and it'll figure things out for you. They say you won't have to like find out which field to fill out or answer CAPTCHAs or find out which website to go to or anything. It'll take care of all that for you. You're just
But but aren't Google searches or if you're using Chrome doing that to a degree already? They're already summarizing.
they are summarizing, but they're not taking actions on your behalf. That's
Right.
the difference.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's why. And by the way, Anthropic has let's see, somebody
Wait, Sam. So
uh,
look, I'll tell you exactly what's going to happen. If OpenAI is going to be able to buy plane tickets for you or buy concert tickets, whatever it is, whatever device you want to buy, if it's
yeah,
a material object,
yeah.
what's going to happen is the advertisers and the websites are going to be able to somehow fake out OpenAI.
Well, why would they fake it out?
Because if you're trying to get the best price,
Yeah.
they want you to pay the, a higher
Oh,
price.
oh, well, yeah, that's true. So I guess you could
So
detect
it's going to be
an
the
AI.
arms race
Sure, you can
between
detect
the
when it's an AI agent and raise the price because they say, well, this guy isn't paying attention.
right. Yeah. Yeah.
That's true. But
I mean,
I
it
was
is,
thinking on the other side, I was thinking the first thing I would do is say our ticket sales system is AI friendly, so you can buy the tickets more easily. And make it so it has like a special API call just for the AI bots to make it real easy to buy through the AI system to get more sales. That would be another possibility.
yeah. But if you're the user,
Yeah.
right, you don't care if the website's AI enabled. You're not even going to see the website.
Well, but I think the marketers that make their site AI friendly will get more business because the AI will naturally go to them.
Yeah, well, we'll see.
See,
This is the typical arms
yeah,
race. But
it is. Yeah,
isn't this what's happening with Travelocity and all the different airline and hotel booking services? It all comes down to a couple companies, even though like Priceline, Travelocity, aren't they all owned ultimately by the same parent company?
probably, but I don't know the details of them. But you're right. I used to use Travelocity for everything, and then I found out that it wasn't the best deal and they didn't have all the choices. So now I book with the airlines directly, like United and stuff. Google Flights is better. Ouch.
Yeah.
And actually, anyway, so one thing ChatGPT Atlas has implemented is logged
Yes.
out mode, which seems good to me. You can set it so that it browses the web, but none of your websites are logged in, so it can't actually make the purchase. And that is the way I would probably use it.
Yeah. So it's kind of like an in private mode, if you will.
It is, and so of course
Yeah.
that would make it less convenient. It won't accomplish the whole task, but you
Right.
have more control.
Right.
So I bet
Right.
90% of users will turn that off just for convenience, as you'd expect. So we're going to see. It's going to be a brave new world. Now, Anthropic is, of course, another AI company, and
Right.
they're in trouble
Uh,
because David Sachs, the guy who is the All In podcast, and he's now the official crypto and AI czar in the Trump administration.
right.
He has
Right. Right.
complained. What he said is Anthropic is running a sophisticated regulatory capture strategy based on fear mongering. The real issue is not research, but rather Anthropic's agenda to backdoor woke AI and other AI regulations through blue states like California. And as frequently happens, I tend to think David Sachs is correct. I mean, the point is, I always say this, all the Silicon Valley guys are saying, we're going to have general AI soon. We're going to have the Terminator running around killing us all. We need like regulations to save us from that, which is complete crap.
Yeah.
And but anyway, so Anthropic CEO has said that tests have shown they're not politically biased and therefore their AI is not woke. But anyway, that's the thing. The fear mongering about AI and the regulations are probably pretty much crap. And they're trying to manipulate the system to pass regulations that would crush their competition. So that's why I think all the talk about AI regulation is pretty bogus.
Yeah, I think so too. I think it's way too early.
Yeah, I think we already have generic product liability legislation. If you make a product that hurts people, you can sue.
Yeah.
And I don't really think you need anything specifically targeting AI, but we're going to see. Anyway, uh,
Yeah, so I got another story. Did you catch yesterday there was a massive arrest of NBA of a couple NBA players in a big scandal where it's online betting
oh,
is been uh, connected with the mafia. It's been connected with NBA players throwing games.
well,
And
I think that's always been going on, but I guess they caught.
well, uh, yeah, but now they arrested, I think, 20 plus people.
Yeah.
And there were poker games involved where you could play poker with an NBA basketball star, but the game was actually rigged.
Hmm.
So you were going to lose no matter what.
The part that surprises me is how were they able to prove this? Did they find incriminating text messages or something?
Well, we don't know yet,
Yeah.
but there was massive arrests, massive meaning 20 or
Well, sure,
so
you very
people.
rarely hear of people getting arrested for this, but there have been rumors forever that their sites are rigged and that the bets are pretty much crooked. That's why, I've never understood much about sports, and sports betting is even more crazy to me. But it's a big
Yeah.
thing.
Well, if you remember, what was it? Maybe, boy, how long ago was it? 5 years ago, 3, 4, 5 years ago. The KGO was a news talk and news station based out of San Francisco, one of the early radio stations,
Yeah, I
been
used to
around
listen to
for,
them. Yeah.
yeah, decades. It was a radio talk show. They finally, right before a ballot initiative to legalize gambling in California,
Yeah.
they bought the radio station and they were going to convert it to a sports station,
Yeah.
right? Sports betting.
It's big business.
Yeah, it is a big business, and California voted no.
Yeah.
And
Well,
so now what's happened, I don't quite understand this, but there's another type of wagering right now where you can bet on literally anything,
oh,
sports
yeah.
games. Yeah.
Well, I've heard of this. You bet on like whether Trump is going to be indicted, who's going to win the presidential election, and everything. Yeah.
Yeah. And somehow that's now taken off in California. It's legal because it's technically not betting, or there's some loophole in the law that makes that type of betting slightly less or makes it legal.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
guess because it's not a game of chance.
Yeah. I don't know the legal status, but I do hear about this now and then. People go there to like predict the future by seeing what the odds are.
Yeah.
They have
Yeah.
odds on every political race and everything. So to that
So,
extent, it's
what's going to
controversial.
be interesting is I wonder what this is going to do to the NBA or if people even care.
Well, I bet the sports people care. Like I say, sports is a sort of madness that affects a lot of people. People care about
Yeah.
sports to an unbelievable extent. And I just
Yeah.
observed
Yeah.
this phenomenon from the outside, wondering what the hell is the big,
Yeah. Yeah.
anyway,
Yeah.
yep.
What else you got for us, Sam?
Well, so Trump pardoned the Binance
Yes.
CEO, Changpeng Zhao, which is interesting. I mean, Changpeng Zhao got a 3-year sentence from the Biden administration, which Trump describes as a war on cryptocurrency, which is not totally unfair. I mean, the 3 or 4 years ago, most of the establishment banking industry people totally hated cryptocurrency and said this stuff is just a scam, it's just a pyramid scheme, it's going to just crash the economy, everybody should just stay away from it. Now people have sort of given up and accepted it. And of course, Trump made his own meme coin, and that's what made him rich. I mean, his first administration, he didn't earn so much money. This time, he's earned like $5 billion just by embracing cryptocurrency. So he's totally learned how to get rich in the second presidency and everybody's imitating him. So Zhao had a 3-year sentence related to Binance's failure to report cryptocurrency circulating that had come from ransomware attacks, hacks, account takeovers, darknet markets, and illegal narcotics, counterfeit and fraud related products. So he was really basically a fence making money off the proceeds of crime. And the Biden administration punished him harshly for that, but the Trump administration is just forgiving him because, in the Trump administration, any kind of fraud that makes money is pretty much legal. And
Yeah.
apparently, any amount of sexual crimes is legal, like pedophilia and marketing pedophilia. They're totally the guardian of pedophiles is the party in power now. So I think they are successfully recreating the Gilded Age when the rich just treat the world as their plaything and the poor just get ground underfoot. What's bizarre is the poor people vote for it. But anyway, so that's Binance, and that's all I had to say about that. Script C,
Yeah.
Ching Ching Zhao is out, and so Tinder.
And Como is out too. Didn't he also pardon Como yesterday or the day
I didn't
before?
hear about it, but I didn't even know Como needed a pardon. But he was
Maybe I'm
convicted of like
mistaken.
sexual crimes, and maybe he got pardoned. I don't know. He's out running for mayor again.
Is
Apparently,
he?
failing terribly. He has like 2% of the vote or something. But he is running for mayor of New York again. So I guess he's,
Got it.
yeah. Anyway, so Tinder is expanding its face verification text to more states. Tinder is requiring people to make a video selfie, and they claim the videos are erased after an account is verified, but they keep what they call a non-reversible encrypted face map and face vector on hand to prevent duplicate accounts. So I'd like to know the cryptography behind that. That's a little interesting. They somehow have some kind of fingerprint of your face they keep, but not the literal video.
So why can't they just make a hash of the video?
I guess it's something, well, because of course, if you make another video of the same person, it won't have the same hash remotely. You'd have to somehow try to find distinctive
Yeah,
features.
yeah, yeah.
So
Okay, got it, got
yeah,
it.
yeah.
Yeah.
So you get some kind of like
Thanks.
geometrical
Yeah.
features of your face and boil that down to some kind of token so that hopefully they can detect. I think the idea is if you come back and try to make another account because you got banned, they want to recognize that you're still the same guy.
So how does that work with twins?
I'm sure that's a problem. And
Yeah.
if it's like all the other face recognition systems in the world, it probably has huge racial problem. Most of the face recognition systems think all black people look the same, for example. And I wouldn't be surprised if it thinks a lot of Asian people look the same. So I can see a lot of problems.
And double gangers.
Now, that's all true.
Double. Yeah.
Yep. And besides, could you just put on like a Groucho Marx eyeglasses and then make a new account and it won't recognize you as the same guy?
If they're using IR scans, maybe not.
No, they're just using a selfie video that you record.
Yeah, but
That doesn't have
yeah,
IR.
yeah, yeah. Okay, okay. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Anyway, this is, of course, real related to what we talked about many times. Everybody wants to have age gating, and they're trying to figure out some way to figure out how old you are. And a lot of them claim they can take a selfie and figure out how old you are from the appearance of your face.
So, Sam, I wonder if you put makeup on, if
Oh,
that
yeah.
would fake it out.
I'm sure it would.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the whole point of makeup. You can really change your appearance.
Right,
Yeah.
right, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
So, so put on clown makeup and
yeah.
take a selfie.
Yeah. Yeah. I imagine. Yeah. So, all right. So, and I got a few more of these. Russia has always facilitated cybercrime to a ridiculous extent, but now they're changing their position. They're beginning to punish cyber criminals and say they're evolving from passive tolerance to active management. Now, the cyber criminals are deeply integrated with the Russian government. They're like organized crime and it's very corrupt. So they're not like actually stamping out crime, but they are limiting crime. They're playing favorites like you're my pal, so you're okay, but these guys are not in the club, so they get crushed. But they're actually taking some action against cybercrime instead of just letting it grow unchecked, which has been their previous policy.
Yeah, yeah, got it, got it.
And the U.S. government is losing its cybersecurity protections for the first time in history. There's a group called Cyberspace Solarium Commission that has checked to see how secure the U.S. government is, and a quarter of the recommendations have lost their fully implemented status this year because of the huge cuts at the CISA manpower and elsewhere. The vast
Yeah.
Trumps. They've cut all the people that protect us, and our security posture is degrading, as you would expect.
Right, right.
Uh, and I thought this was pretty interesting. There's a defense contractor called L3 Harris, which I never heard of, but they make cyber weapons for the U.S. government and other Western agencies. And they have a division called Trenchant that does that. And the general manager is a guy named Peter Williams, or it was. And Peter Williams has been prosecuted for selling those hacking tools to the Russians, earning $1.3 million dollars. So he was
That's
developing.
not, Sam, that's not a lot of money.
Well, this is what I hear. Like a lot of bribery is just like $20,000. Like, remember one of the Republican officials in the Trump administration? The FBI has him on record taking a $50,000 bribe in a paper bag. So politicians are cheap dates. And Trump,
Like,
you can get a pardon from Trump for 1 million, and people that do that have earned like 200 million, and they get to keep the 200 million. It's amazing how cheap the VIG is. I would think the VIG would be at least 15%, but it seems more like 1% is enough VIG to satisfy politicians.
Sam, still the one that I don't understand that would be the easiest one to get out is Elizabeth Holmes.
Does she still have the money, or did she already lose all the money?
Well, she's married to, the billionaire, right?
Yeah, well,
Aren't
she
they?
must. I know she must either be dumb or not have the right contacts because all you have to do is get somebody close to Trump, which would be, I guess, Laura Loomer these days. It used to be in the first administration, it was Rudy Giuliani. For $1 million, he would get you a pardon, and he advertised this. Um, I mean, I think it was 2 million because he had to give 1 million to Trump. And in this administration, I think it's anybody close to Trump, anybody in his cabinet. You have to know somebody who will get your case. That's why he's now talking about pardoning Diddy. I mean, it's a way to make money. He'll just sell pardons to anybody that gives him a kickback. But you have to have somebody close to him say, hey, you should pardon this guy. Which is, to be fair, that's what Biden's son did, Hunter. He just said, hey, I'm close to this important political figure, so hire me so I can influence him. That's what it is.
Yeah, here. So, she married, or we believe she married Billy Evans. She has two kids by him.
Yeah.
And Evans is worth some money.
Well, I know she pays attention to the news and sees what happened to Ghislaine Maxwell. It's clear that anybody rich in prison could just improve their lives a lot by just bribing Trump some.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
and the latest Trump corruption is amazing. Not only is he tearing down the White House, but he also just demanded that the government pay him $230 million to compensate him for all the bother created by when they investigated him and prosecuted him. And
Yes.
the legal experts say, this is absolutely unheard of, that when you prosecute someone and you find them guilty, then you're supposed to pay for their legal fees. Normally, when they prosecute you, even when they find you innocent, they don't pay for your legal fees. So what is this shit? But this is Trump. He's the president. So he said, just hand me the money. Thanks. I'll just take that money.
Sam, it's a new world.
Well, it's a lot like the old world from 1900, which is exactly what Trump said. He's going to bring back the Gilded Age when the titans of industry just stole everything and everybody else had to slave in a workhouse in a coal mine and die young.
We're going to make America great again.
And that's what makes it great. The titans,
Right.
the point
Gilded
one,
Age.
the billionaires live a great life and everybody else shuts up and stays in their place. That's what
That's
they
right.
want. The funny thing is how many poor people are going along with this.
Yeah.
That's the part
Yeah.
that's strange. How do you make poor people go along with this plan? And I think it's not going to work, but we're going to see, right? 26 will be the test. Are enough poor people still believing that somehow this is going to benefit them? I had one of my right-wing students just said yesterday, "Oh, this will all work out. Pretty soon, Trump's policies are going to lead to wealth for all of us." He's still saying that. He believes these tariffs are going to make us all rich somehow, and they're believing, well, it's coming. This is just temporary pain, but soon we're all going to get rich. And so some Republicans believe that this is actually a good policy and it's going somewhere good. I don't think so. But anyway, we're living through.
One would have to explain to me how that would work.
I
The
know.
tariffs,
Yeah.
right?
Well, he
That
because Trump believes tariffs are paid by other nations into us, and they're enough to cover everything. He believes that when he puts a 130% tariff on China, that means China pays a whole bunch more, which is not, totally not what happens. That means American consumers pay a whole bunch more.
Yeah, I mean, there. If you listen to NPR or what used to be NPR Marketplace,
Yeah.
they interview businesses right now
Oh,
that their cost of materials have gone up substantially,
oh yeah.
and as a result, business has decreased,
Yeah.
and they're having to lay people off,
Yeah.
and right because of these tariffs.
Oh, yeah. And I saw another article here that said, U.S. credit card delinquencies have now reached the 14-year peak. The
Hmm,
credit card delinquencies are now the highest point since 2010. So, like I say, except for AI, the U.S. economy is already in really bad shape and collapsing fast because of Trump's policies. But the AI bubble is holding up certain things like the stock market for a little while.
got it, got
Yeah.
it.
But the
And
actual the actual people are suffering. They know the grocery prices have gone up, their health insurance is about to double, and
wait, we were told that grocery prices were going to go down.
that's right. He said that and then did absolutely nothing to bring them down. But now he is just saying prices are down, inflation is down because he just lies. And I wonder how long he can fool people with that by just pretending everything's fine when it's really not fine. But for a while they say, well, I guess everybody else is doing okay. It's just me that's suffering because I got laid off. But I don't think that'll last for too long before people begin to put the pieces together and say, wait a minute, these
Yeah,
policies are not benefiting me.
yeah, yeah.
Anyway, I got a couple InfoSec
Mm.
stories. Uh,
All right, what's in the infosec department this time?
um, well, the details of the European hack that brought down airport travel there. Airport travels were screwed up for several weeks in the European Union. It's because one company called Collins Aerospace got hacked. And what happened is that InfoStealer got in there in 2022 and stole their credentials, which were weak FTP credentials. And apparently, they didn't notice this and never rotated the credentials. So attackers came in 3 years later and they just used the FTP credentials. And the original attacker said, we didn't deploy ransomware. And when they started shutting down systems, they said, oh, they're just pretending to have hit by ransomware so they can collect on their insurance. But what the attackers didn't know is a second group of attackers came right in at the same time and did deploy ransomware. The first guys just stole the data for extortion, and then the ransomware people came in and infected everything, and that's what happened. And it all came from weak credentials that had been stolen years earlier. And so this connected me to
Wait,
company.
wait. So,
Yeah,
do you know were the credentials that were stolen earlier sold?
that's, I'm not quite sure of that, but I
Okay,
think they were public because I went to this. There's a very interesting site that wrote this up called Hudson Rock, which I didn't know about. Hudson Rock collects data from info stealers. Somehow they get the public data, sort of like Have I Been Pwned? I guess from public dumps.
I
And
see.
and
I
they
see.
knew about it, which makes me think it had been dumped. But what they're doing here, they will check your domain for free. And you can pay them for threat intelligence. They are monitoring all the stolen credentials, and they will let you know when your credentials have been stolen and leaked, which seems like a pretty valuable service, actually.
Yeah, yeah,
And so
yeah.
that was that's something to know in threat intelligence. And here's another one that I was pretty surprised at. iOS 26, the latest iPhone operating system, they've changed their logs. Now, every time you reboot the device, it erases the shutdown log file, which was recording information about previous shutdowns, and that was the main information used to detect infections by Pegasus and Predator. So they're actually security companies are recommending that people do not update to the latest iOS for this reason, because they destroy the logs you need to detect infections. Hopefully they'll change their mind about that. And
Yeah, and the chances of people not updating, I think, are slim.
oh no, I mean, 90% of users will just update, of course,
Yeah.
thinking that it makes it more secure, which it
Well,
probably which it probably
that
does, but this one feature seems to be a mistake.
yeah, yeah.
There's a nice report about Jingle Thief. a card fraud campaign, which is pretty a sophisticated cybersecurity attack. These guys use phishing and smishing to steal credentials, and they compromise the organizations that issue gift cards so they can then issue unauthorized gift cards. And what? Yeah.
What?
So if you want to have like gift cards for your customers, you hire some
Yes,
company that does that,
yes.
make the gift cards. But these guys infect them and steal their software to issue their own gift cards that are unauthorized.
Oh, so let's say I get a gift card for MasterCard,
Right, 50
but
bucks
normally,
at
but
Starbucks or
normally
something.
it'd
Yeah.
be a smaller company, right? Like
Or
a
50 bucks,
restaurant
or
chain.
50 bucks at Starbucks or something, right?
Yeah. Okay. And so Starbucks outsources the gift card.
To some company
Um,
that makes gift cards. Yeah,
yeah, right. And they make gift cards for probably hundreds of different companies.
that's right.
So I buy the card, or no, I buy a card from them. And in theory, they should take some of the money
Right.
and then give the rest of it to Starbucks.
I
But what you're
suppose. Yeah.
okay, but what you're telling me is they just give me the gift card
Now
and don't give.
these guys just print fake gift cards that are accepted, and
Yeah.
then they can sell them or spend them, and the money. I don't know quite who ends up paying the money, but they've got something worth money they didn't pay for.
Oh.
It's like
So
counterfeit money.
I as a consumer, legitimate, honest consumer,
Yeah.
may or may not be buying these bogus gift cards that are
Well,
that do work.
Well, that's an interesting question. I mean,
Yeah.
they get this, they seal the software, so they're able to print unauthorized gift cards. Then I don't know exactly how they turn that into money. I would imagine,
I see.
I would imagine they sell them, and therefore they're on the black market, and therefore I suppose you're right. People might buy them like counterfeit money and not know it.
Yeah.
But that
Yeah.
they didn't go into that part of it, but they talked about the technical issue of how they got in, which was interesting. After they do phishing to get credentials, they then take over the Microsoft 365 services, SharePoint, OneDrive, Exchange, and Entra ID, and they maintain access for typically 10 months, compromising over 60 user accounts, and just live in their Microsoft 365 cloud environment, stealing everything and investigating it. So it's pretty interesting. And ultimately, you can say this is what you got from going to the cloud.
Well, Sam, that the holiday seasons are coming up soon.
Yeah, that's why they call
Yeah.
it Jingle Thief. This does particularly focus on
I
Christmas, of
see.
course, because Christmas is when everybody gets the gift cards.
Well, what was it? 2 years ago, they busted somebody in the Bay Area who was going around stealing gift cards from Safeway, Target, different places.
Yeah.
They would then take the gift cards, they wouldn't buy them. They'd take them home. They'd scratch off the back to get the code. They'd then go to, I think it's Amazon, and buy the little strip that you have to scratch off, put it back on the card, and go back into the store and anti-steal the gift cards.
Right.
So now
They put them back in the shelf.
they put them back in the shelf. So unsuspecting, honest customer comes in. They buy the gift card. They go up to the cashier. They pay, and they walk away. And they've got a gift card that they gift to somebody, but it might take a day or two, a week before the person gets the card. In the meantime, the person or the organization that stole the gift cards originally have the number, and they have a routine that's running that's constantly submitting those cards, numbers on the cards to redeem the cash. So by the time the actual recipient of the card gets it, they put in the card number. They say, oh, there's no balance. You've already redeemed it.
Now, how did the original thief get the cards? Did they pay for them? Then
No, they
return
just
them?
go into the store and they
Steal
just
them?
empty out the rack.
But do they steal them or do they pay for them?
Well, they steal them, obviously.
Well, then why do they ever put them back? If you steal them, you just use them and that's the end of it, right?
Well, you got to pay for them to energize them, if you will.
Oh, you do. Oh, okay.
So if you go into Safeway, pick
Yeah.
your store,
Yeah.
right? Costco, Safeway, or wherever you'll go, right? If you take a $100 gift card off the
Yeah.
rack,
Yeah.
That's not worth $100 until you pay the at the register.
So they do
But
have
if
to pay for them.
no, the bad guy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. The bad guy just goes and empties, takes 20 gift cards, walks out the door.
So they're not activated.
They're not activated. They scrape off the code.
Oh, just
They
so they
get,
know the code. And then, okay, so they try to, after the real customer who paid for it activates it, they then suck out the money before they can.
yeah,
Well,
yeah, yeah.
that's actually pretty clever. Okay.
So it's actually it's a crime that takes place before the crime takes place,
Yeah,
if you
yeah.
will.
Yeah, this is not that different than like the trading, stock market trading, where you get a faster internet connection so you can buy stuff just before other people's buy orders go through. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, 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 but this is completely dishonest. At least
Sure. But
with
it's
the
a race.
stock market trading, it's a timing issue.
I would say both of them are race condition exploits.
Yeah, one's a little bit faster than the other.
That's right. Yeah. All
One's
right.
in milliseconds, and the other one could
Yeah,
be in days, weeks,
that's
hours,
right.
months.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
but so here there's another
Anyway,
example.
that's a really difficult crime, I would argue, to track.
Oh, I think it is. Yeah.
But because the crime actually takes place before, if you will,
Yeah.
the crime takes place.
Yeah, that's right. It's a
Yeah.
clever trick. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a very clever trick. Anyway, what else you got going? So
I,
that we'll see if that's going to come up this holiday season
oh,
again.
I'm sure it will. Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
So, the new DDoS attacks are getting really big, like 33 terabits per second. And
Yeah.
that's so big that they take down everything, not just the target, but the infrastructure of the internet. They're taking down internet exchange ports and freezing a whole bunch, peering links, and so on. So these attacks are so big, they black out a whole bunch of the internet when they run. So that's to be expected in collateral damage.
Yeah. So, Sam, the internet was designed initially to be resilient. So if part of the internet goes out, we're not supposed to have outages. And what you're telling me is with this
Yep.
massive DDoS attack, we're having outages, just like with the Amazon outage earlier this week.
Yep, that's right. And another thing that I thought was pretty interesting is my site came under attack. For the last couple of weeks, when I go to my page, I often get a 500 server internal error. And just refresh the page and it goes away. And I
Yeah.
wondered what it was. So I finally inspected the logs yesterday and I found that I'm getting 27 requests per second for a malformed URL that just has like 20 directories in the URL. And I think what's happened is somebody's trying to make a scraper, but they coded their bot so badly that it records every directory, and then it tries subdirectories with the real directory name in it, making it a long, long URL. And there's 27 of those coming in per second, and that's enough to flood my server. So I turned
Mm,
on Cloudflare's under attack mode, and after that, the traffic fell to 2 requests per second, and it still has a lot of that attack traffic in it, but only the shorter ones. Now it's only like 10 directories deep instead of 20. And the end result is that stops more than 90% of the attack, and that's enough that my site is working again. So, but I was interested to look at the logs and I understand what the attack is. And I don't think anybody's benefiting from this because those long URLs are just resolved like to my homepage. So they made a bot that thinks it's scraping thousands of directories, but it's just getting 1,000 copies of my homepage. So I think some
okay.
some idiot out there has written like an AI scraper and they've written it badly and it's flooding my site with traffic, fetching junk, benefiting nobody.
Yeah.
But the
Yeah.
Cloudflare's
Yeah.
defense is effective, and I was interested to get good log records so I can see what the attack was like and what the defense is like. So it's good news.
Yeah.
I appreciate
Yeah.
Cloudflare. Just turn on a simple switch and it lowers this attack. It doesn't completely stop it, but it stops enough of it that my site is up again.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, that's all the news I think from me.
Well, I'll leave you with one final thought
Yeah.
on this Friday. We the heist that took place in Paris,
Oh yeah, the Louvre.
right? Yeah, where the jewels were heisted. I haven't followed up on that. Is there more to the story that we don't know?
No, the last thing I heard was it turned out to be pretty simple. They just brought in a truck with a ladder, climbed in through a window. There was no security camera there. And in like 7 minutes, they were able to steal like some crown jewels from another country and get away. And apparently, they didn't have any security cameras recording them. So they seem to have gotten away with it.
Yeah. So apparently, there's a related story. This took place in 2017 in Berlin.
Oh,
And Berlin has a coin museum where there was a coin, there was a 100 kilo gold coin. 100 kilos is what, 50 pounds
yeah,
roughly, give or take?
ridiculous.
Yeah. So this,
There's been talk about that. They wanted to solve some financial problem in America by minting a $1 trillion coin. There was some issue about that. That was a proposal, I think, in the Biden administration.
how heavy would that be?
It was going to be made of platinum or something. Well, it doesn't have to be $1 trillion worth of metal. It just has to have
Oh,
a nominal value. They were going to mint that coin in order to pay the
ah,
national debt or something. There was some discussion of that. It didn't happen. Anyway, go ahead.
I see. So I believe this was an Australian coin, and there were something like 20, 50, 100 of them made. So there are not that many of them. And the purity was, I think, 6 or 7 nines. So it was incredibly pure.
Yeah.
And what happened was there was a bridge that was bombed during World War II between a couple museums that was never rebuilt, but parts of the structure are still there. So the thieves walked along the metro tracks, the S-Bahn tracks, and they got to the museum. They climbed up. They used the ladder. They climbed up. They broke into the bulletproof case using, I think, a chainsaw, battery powered chainsaw. They were able to get the coin, remember, 50 pounds. They
Yeah.
lowered it down to the metro tracks, ran away, or put it into a wheelbarrow, ran away with it, and somehow disappeared. But the way, and they were caught, meaning the people that stole the coin, and the way that they were caught was, I guess, they were leaving gold scrapings as they were walking along. 50-pound gold coin, right? Not that easy.
Yep.
They were convicted. They were put in jail. I think they were in for 4 years. They're out now. And where's the coin?
They never found it.
Never been found.
And see, if they'd been Americans, they could have just taken some of that coin's money and given it to Trump and gotten a pardon.
Or ended the investigation.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so these European thefts go on from time to time.
I'd like to know, why did anybody make a 50-pound coin? Who thought that was a good idea?
Well, and the purity, right, makes it untraceable.
Yeah, just, that's kind of strange why you would do that. There must have been some reason.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, and the coin was owned by, if I recall correctly, a private collector who had it on loan in the museum for people to see.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing.
So,
Yeah. Museums have to protect all that stuff, and I looks like their security isn't really up to it.
yeah, and there's a museum in Boston, if I'm not mistaken, that on St. Patrick's Day, 25 or so years ago, had some priceless paintings or very expensive paintings that were stolen. And again, it was a simple matter of getting in to the museum. It was closed, it was after hours. And what's interesting is they didn't go after the most expensive paintings, but they went after some very specific paintings. I think one or two may have been returned. And that supposedly, the rumor is that it's tied to the IRA, the Northern Ireland.
Yeah, I would
It,
assume you steal specific paintings because you have a buyer for them or something.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
All
yeah.
right.
That's it for me this go round.
Yeah, that's it for me too. So we'll have another one on Tuesday.
Yeah, and it's a week from Halloween, is it not?
Oh, I suppose it is. Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens.
Oh,
Oh, and
yeah.
Sam, we missed it again.
Yeah.
The rapture was supposed to come this month.
Oh,
So far, it hasn't.
I heard about it earlier. Yeah, I heard some people were like selling all their stuff because they were sure they were going to heaven.
Yeah, but that was for the other rapture
Oh,
that
okay.
was supposed to take place last month.
Oh, I'm just not up to date on this stuff.
Yeah, and if you're keeping track in the religious world, the I think it's the president of the Mormon Church at 101 recently passed away. So a new president has been elected who's I think 95 or 98 years old.
Sounds like the U.S. government. Okay.
So we'll see what revelations come out from the new prophet of the Mormon Church.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, Sam, we'll talk to you next time, huh?
Okay. Sounds good.